everyone. My name is Freddie Hernandez, and you may know me as Tavarish. Joining me is my partner, Mr. Andrew Howell.
We've been doing this for a week now.
We have been doing this for a week.
That's pretty cool, I guess.
It's a little weird. I feel like if this was a show, it'd be canceled by now. But
It is a show, but no one can cancel us.
Exactly.
Only us can cancel us.
Only us can cancel us. That's correct. This is the Wrench Everyday Podcast, where we talk about wrenching and car culture and DIY stuff and things that are just on our minds. Actually, I'm going to start with something that's on my mind. I got my Lamborghini wheels. Well, I got the color changed. So, I'm in the process of getting the color changed.
Correct.
Which is really, really exciting.
Yes, it is. I'm actually very excited to see how that turns out.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, I bought a Lamborghini Gallardo from the year 2008. It's a Spider. I'm just going to gloat a little bit. It's a Spider, has a 6-speed, has twin turbos, and it sounds great until you realize that it doesn't actually move.
And you named it?
I didn't actually name it yet.
Well, you should name it.
But
you know what I think you should name it.
Okay, so what should I name it? Because this is
what did you come up with originally?
So this Lamborghini, it's white. And it has black accents. It has some carbon fiber accents. So it looks kind of like a stormtrooper. So I wanted something like a Star Wars theme with a name. Even though I'm not a super huge Star Wars fan, I think it would make sense with a name like that. So
I am a super huge Star Wars fan.
You are the Star Wars fan. I think you're the only one. I think you're the...
Yeah, it's not a very popular franchise.
No, it's not. I mean, they made a lot of money, but I think it's only on you.
Yep.
Right. So the name that I came up with, and it's arguably not a very good name, was Lambo Calrissian. So a lot of people on Twitter liked that name, and I thought that it was a hacky name. I didn't really like it, but I'm kind of going for that. But you had another name, and I think that name might make some sense.
So I'm not gonna try and downplay Lambo Calrissian. That's a good name. That's a real good one.
It's good.
But
as far as Lambo names, it's one of the best, right?
It's fresh gabagool.
Yeah.
But you mentioned a stormtrooper motif, a stormtrooper look. Lindell Calrissian, he's not a stormtrooper.
No, right. I understand that
he's kind of in the middle. He's another anti-hero.
Yeah.
Like Han Solo.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, okay, and the name that I have for you Star Wars fans out there, he isn't exactly dark side or light side. He's also kind of in the middle. Mm-hmm. He's just whoever pays the most. So to his Lambo Calrissian, I had Lamboba Fett.
Yes, so that works, and also the Fett would be the TT, which would be the twin turbo, which is a double entendre, and I love double entendres.
Double entendre.
Yes, I love that stuff. So let us know in the comments if you think that either one of those is a good name, or they're horrible names, or whatever. Like for him and comment for me. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it even needs a name. It's one of those things where every Motor Trend car has a name. Why not me?
Yeah, but, I guess.
But I don't know.
I've never understood the whole naming your car thing. Coming from the Mini Cooper community. Okay, so I went into the Mini Cooper community from the RX-7 community. Sure. And the RX-7 guys were talking about car stuff.
Right.
Like thread pitch and compression and blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. Then I get to and so I'm part of the forums and the Facebook groups and stuff. So
you're in there.
Oh yeah, big time. So mm-hmm. I migrate from the RX-7 online world to the Mini Cooper online world, and I was expecting there to be technical talk as well, and there was, but it was very few and far between. Most of the time,
it's all emotional.
No, not even that. It's just people would make a post and they'd put a picture of their car and be like, "Hey, I named my car today." Or I went to this place. Here's a picture of my car in front of this place.
I love that you take on that persona whenever the stereotype poster, I named my car to that today.
So I have a Mini Cooper. It's turbocharged. It's super fast and hella cute.
So you have to make it every sentence is a question. So I named my Mini Cooper today, and I went to Starbucks, and I got a latte.
That was basically. So yeah, they're treating these cars more like fashion accessories than driving implements. which
know,
I
mean,
I get.
If the shoe fits, you know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that's sort of what they are. No?
Both shoes fit.
Yeah. They kind of look like shoes. I mean,
kind of, yeah, clown shoes.
Yes.
Not as much as the Z3M Coupe, but getting there.
Right. Okay. So, so I'm going back to me changing the color of these wheels. Now, these wheels are sort of very, not even sort of, these are very, very extremely loud. And they are some candy red. They're powder coated and candy and clear coated and all that.
Powder coated poorly.
Listen, I don't know how well the powder coating went on. I don't know.
I'm not saying it's your fault. I'm just saying I know a good powder coat when I see one.
Okay. All right.
I was not looking at a good powder coat job.
So coming from the powder coat king, it was
But
I'm the king of powder coating in the Northwest region.
I'm Prince Powdercoat.
Yes. So I don't know how well it was done. It seemed okay to me, but then again, I don't really have an eye for this stuff. I've never had anything powder coated in my life. It is too loud for the car, even though the car is a Lamborghini. And even though you like the color, I like the color as well, just not on that car.
Fit the specific car, yeah.
Right. If I was living in Miami and I was owning a nightclub and perhaps some other illegal, entrepreneurship opportunities, then perhaps it would make sense. But I'm not that person. I live in Central Florida next to a bunch of cows. I do have a Lamborghini, but I'd rather have it a little bit low key. So
so you live next to the cows. It's the bull for the.
That's right. It's the bull for the cows.
Yeah,
that's right. Did you know that this is a fact that cows are just fat horses? Did you know that?
What?
Yes, cows are just fat horses, and horses are athletic cows. Did you know that?
My mind is blown.
Yes, that is a fact. Do not Google that. Do not Google that because that will not come up in Google. So, anyway, the color that I chose for this was, can you remember what it was? It's like a gunmetal, but I think it was called Cosmetallic.
Yes.
Yeah,
which makes me think of Cosmoline or like something like
like Cosmoline. That Cosmoline is this god awful substance that they used to dip guns into, like in World War I and World War II. And I actually have it in my Mosin Nagant, and it's just if you go to range and shoot this thing, it smells, but also it starts becoming liquid. So
yes.
the gun gets wet. It's disgusting.
Yeah,
and it also rusts the barrel. It's so bad. But yeah, it reminds me of Cosmoline. It reminds me of like Cosmos. It reminds me of Carl Sagan and Neil deGrasse Tyson. Perhaps the wheels won't put me to sleep as well. But
what is he called on the internet? Black Science Man.
Black Science Man.
Yeah.
People don't think the universe be like it is, but it do.
But it do.
All right. So I wanted to talk a little bit about when I took off these wheels. A lot of times, I'm getting ahead of myself here. When I took off these wheels, I noticed some things about my car.
What did you notice?
Mainly behind the wheels, like stuff like the suspension and the brake lines and stuff like that. And then I thought about, there's a lot of things on cars that people don't notice. Mm-hmm. They don't check them, and they could be really, really hazardous if they go unchecked.
That is correct.
So I wanted to talk a little bit about stuff like stuff that people would benefit from in just checking, like just doing a 5-minute once over.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So what are some things? I mean, without getting into like specifics, like you want to check the oil pump gasket on the Mini Cooper from 2003 or something like that. You know?
Right.
Yeah,
just like an all-encompassing.
Yeah, all-encompassing. If somebody doesn't know the first thing about cars, first of all, if you're listening and you don't know the first thing about cars, thank you for watching. Oh, you are just the best kind of person. So
you're very brave.
Yes, you're very brave. You're just learning yourself a bunch of knowledge. Hopefully, we actually haven't said anything other than conjecture, but
the Lamborghini is white. You are now learning.
Exactly.
You're welcome.
Yeah, powder coating sometimes sucks. Yes, but what I was thinking was stuff like the brake lines.
Yes.
So the brake lines on cars, they're usually made of rubber. Mm-hmm. And it's a coated rubber that can take some abuse because it's right behind the wheel and it takes debris and all that stuff. It's very resilient, but it's not perfect.
Right.
So after years and years of, let's say, the sun goes on, and if you have some wheels that are
very open face.
Yeah, open-faced wheels. Or there's stuff like acid rain. You have mineral deposits, and you have debris. It wears that stuff down.
Oh, big time.
Yeah. If your brake line ruptures, which is not good, that's something that is potentially very catastrophic, especially for people that don't know what to do if they don't have brakes.
Yes.
So,
what should you do if you don't have brakes? Just quickly.
Well, first thing is, pray to personal gods. I don't know. No, if you don't have brakes, first of all, most cars today don't have issues with their braking systems failing all at once. So let's say if you lose one side of your brakes, it should be the rear passenger side and the front driver side are on one circuit, and the front passenger side, and the rear driver side on another circuit. So theoretically, you should be able to stop the car. You're not going to go into a skid. If both those sides go out at the same time, then somebody up there hates you. then you're this is serendipity gone amok.
Big time.
Yes, but if your brakes go, if your brakes completely go, which is what happens on Mercedes, like my SL55, where they have electronic brakes, and if that pump goes, then basically you have 5% braking left, and it can get really scary. You could theoretically use the emergency brake, even though that's a foot brake and it's ratcheting.
Right.
What I would do is, depending on how much room you have, I would just downshift the engine.
Yep.
So you just put it into a lower gear. Obviously, you can do that with an automatic or manual. It doesn't matter. Downshift the engine. You won't come to a stop, but you'll
decelerate. Yeah.
You'll decelerate pretty good.
Something to add to that is when you're downshifting, you want to kind of weave a little bit.
Yeah. You want to scrub off as much speed as you can.
Yeah.
You're gonna look like a crazy person because, well, I mean, you probably are a crazy person. You're a little manic because your brakes just went out, but you will survive. Did you see that video? It was a little while ago where it was a guy in Florida and he was driving a BMW X3 or something like that. And he called the cops because he said the accelerator was stuck. The car would not stop accelerating. And they had to do spike strips. They had to plant spike strips to stop this guy. And he was like, the car is doing 100 miles an hour. I can't stop. And they were like, oh, sir, have you tried turning it off? Like, yeah, I can't do any of that. And it seems like it's just, first of all, it was like a mid-2000s X3 or X5 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Those cars weren't that technologically advanced that they were like, you have some hacker in the cloud like, look what I'm doing to this BMW.
I'm hacking your brakes.
Yeah, but even if that thing sticks wide open, you can still put it in neutral manually.
That's what I was thinking, was throw it in neutral.
Throw it in neutral, have it rev the nuts off it, but you can still stop.
Yeah.
I don't get that. So any of you, if you have a unintended acceleration moment, don't panic. Just put the car in neutral. The engine will rev. It'll be loud.
Although, what if the transmission wasn't responding?
Okay, so if the transmission's not responding, then you have a few options. First of all, both of those things, two of those two components are different things. So if the transmission is not responding at all, and you have an ECU that's functioning, but your throttle position sensor is just stuck wide open, like the likelihood of that happening is almost zero. Like you'd have to have somebody purposefully trying to kill you,
or you could be in a Final Destination movie.
You could be in a Final Destination movie, but saving that, the cars that we're talking about, they have a physical linkage to the transmission.
Right.
So whether the electronics work or not, it doesn't matter, because in any case, if you put it into another gear, it'll just go neutral. Like so what happens is if you put a car in that's in drive, like you're driving on the highway and you put it in reverse or park, it'll go into neutral. Nothing will happen. So it's not like, you'll spin out of control. Like you can put it in a neutral or any other gear and you should be fine. If it's a manual car, it's even easier. It's literally just
right in the neutral, give it a wiggle and make sure it's in neutral, and you're good to go.
By the way, did you see that video of the guy that he was shifting?
Oh, I tried it. I tried it today on the way here. Oh, I absolutely. So good. Oh man, I really just wanted to like master that hand movement.
Oh, the fancy shifting.
Oh man.
Ooh.
Like he was
shift
so
was buttery
he
smooth.
was so good.
Yeah, that's and
Goals.
and he knew that he would like. He didn't know that he was being taped. It was just like that's the way he did it.
Are you sure that he didn't know that he was being?
Do you think that this was one of those viral videos that they made?
I take everything that I see on the internet with a grain of salt.
So you're telling me that Vehicle Virgins didn't actually get rid of his Lamborghini because he got a rock chip in it or something? Is that what you're trying to tell me? Is that
I don't watch that channel. So.
okay? We don't talk about that in this house.
No.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
No, we don't.
So, getting back on topic. So, brake lines are very, very important.
Yes.
I think that. I mean, what do you think are some issues that people overlook? Like, if you go to a shop and you tell them, just give me a tune-up and I want the car running right. Like, they'll do stuff on the tune-up, like spark plugs and oil change. But there are some things that they won't check, and these are kind of important as well.
I would say check your nuts.
Check your nuts.
Your lug nuts.
Okay. Well, I mean, you want to be a little more specific. Like check your
Sometimes-
nuts. Like testicular cancer is a problem.
It is.
It
is.
Yes.
Lug nuts will sometimes back their way off of the stud and fly off.
Sure. Sometimes you have ex-girlfriends that just, they have that effect.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
I'd say lug nuts, tire valve stem caps.
Tire valve stem caps. Yeah, that's interesting as well. Sometimes the valve stem doesn't create a perfect seal, and that valve stem just gives it a little extra purchase. I would say check especially if you're in northern states, not here in Florida as much, and
Check for rust.
Check for rust in the bad parts of your, like the frame, the unibody, that sort of stuff. But check your lower control arm. Your lower control arm bushings, your lower control arm ball joints. You'll hear it clunking around, but a lot of people, they don't know what to look for. And if the boot is ripped and it's leaking out, the same goes for axles. Those are really, really important because if your axle goes, then your car's basically stranded. If your lower control arm goes, like you might get into a really big accident.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah. So stuff like that. Also, something I actually bumped into today was tires. So a lot of people think that, I have enough tire tread, I'm good. That's actually not true.
Very not true.
Yeah. So tires, just like everything in this world, have an expiration date, and you can actually see the expiration date on the tire. And it's usually 4 numbers. It's a 4-digit number, and the last 2 digits are the year, and the first 2 digits are the week of that year. So mine was 2014. So my Toyo R888s that were on my Lamborghini that I took off today, they were made in the 20th week of 2014. And they were actually showing some signs of degradation. Like you can see minor cracks. And I think on a car that, is potentially a 1,000 horsepower car, I don't want that.
No.
I don't think that's a good idea. But I think that having an idea of what your tires look like, what your control arms look like, what your bushings look like, that's very, very important if you're trying to maintain your car. And I mean, even if you're not trying to race your car or you're not a car enthusiast, just give it a once-over just to know. You can just look under the car, and I actually have a video on it on my channel. Just 5 things, it's like you take 5 minutes and you can check, tire pressures and condition of this and that. So yeah, it's really, really easy to do. But do you think anything else should be added to that list? Because again, this is all free. This is all completely free.
Yeah, like free stuff you can do. Learn how to properly check the level of your oil. I mean, that's kind of a given.
Sure.
You want to make sure that all of your lights are working. Have someone in the car to push the brake, turn the hazards, the signals on, stuff that you really can't see while you're in the car or out of the car.
Sure.
Without someone operating it.
So to that point, if you want to, let's say you're a hermit and you don't have any friends at all, right? And you want to check if your lights are working. If you have one of these, you have a phone.
Yep.
Just place it behind your car, record it, and then just go through all your lights, and then you'll know.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's a real good way. I was doing it the dumb way. I was putting a jack handle in between the brake and the seat, and I was just pushing the seat up. But my brain didn't think like, I have a recording device that I could just place behind
You
the...
have this incredible piece of technology in your pocket.
And I'm just like, Rod, I will press you. I'll press the brake pedal, and that's how we will do this. I am a man. I solve problems. Yeah. So I think that's really important. But I also wanted to talk about. First of all, I don't want to take any glory away from you. Did you have anything you wanted to discuss about your Mini Cooper that is for sale?
Not really. No. If anyone has any questions, they get at me on Twitter at 1565, though.
Well, I have some questions. How many miles are on it?
It has 156,000 miles.
156,000, but they're highway miles. You need to put that in the Craigslist description.
Yeah, I will. It's because I did 65,000 miles in a year in that car.
Why'd you do 65,000 miles in a year?
Because I worked very far away.
So where'd you work?
I worked for Tesla.
The Church of Musk.
Yes.
That's right.
In Musk we trust.
Yes, in Musk we trust. So
thank God for Uncle Leon.
So you drove essentially from Orlando to Tampa, which is like an hour and a half every day, twice.
One way, yeah.
Yeah, an hour and a half one way. So that's a 3-hour drive every single day in a Mini Cooper. I mean, it's a good little trek. But how's the car?
Oh, it's awesome.
The car's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. I would hop in it right now and go cross country, no problem.
Okay, you wanna?
Yes.
It's like you want. I guess.
Yes.
What are you doing tomorrow?
Yeah,
working.
Hey, can't come into work. Gonna be doing a road trip in the Mini Cooper. Okay, bye.
Right. So, so what's done to it?
Oh man. Well, it has some Vogelin lowering springs, about a 1 1/4 inch drop all the way around.
Is that how you pronounce it? Vogeland?
Vogtland.
I thought it was like Vogtland.
Vogtland.
Vogtland. Yeah.
I have some 16x8 XXR 537s on there.
I'm going to pretend I know what those are.
They're wheels.
They're okay.
Yes.
All right.
16x8. Yep.
Sounds like a prescription, but okay.
Yep. They have plus 20
printer toner.
They're plus 20 offset, so there is a little bit of poke. But it's fully functional vehicle.
Right.
I have some really cool aftermarket headlights on there, not ricey looking ones. They actually look factory.
Okay.
Got an OEM Mini Cooper roof rack on top.
Awesome.
My favorite part about the car is that it is straight pipe from the turbo back.
So can you hear, on something with a smaller turbo, can you hear the turbo whooshing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you hear the turbo whoosh. There's a lot of banging and popping and backfiring.
It seems to be a theme with your cars.
Yes, yeah, it's kind of my shtick. It's my thing.
How does that work on an automatic? Because that car's automatic, correct?
Yeah. It's just on the overrun when you let off the throttle.
I wonder why it's called the overrun.
I don't know.
It's just one of those. Yeah. Why is it called drink driving? Okay, I'm just going off on tangents here. Okay, so the car. Have you ever had done any track days, anything like that?
Nope, no track days. Well, not
so driven to church on Sundays.
Like
this is
not like sanctioned track days.
Not sanctioned. Okay,
Yeah.
so unofficial track day. I mean, we are very close to Mexico. So
We are very.
Yeah, so it's a quick drive.
Yep.
Just right over the Gulf. Right into Mexico, and then you can do all your racing to your heart's desire.
Correct.
They do not care, and they don't extradite.
That's right.
I don't think any of that's true, but but yeah, that car should be a lot of fun. Did that have the weird like center dash tack?
No, so the tack is in front of the steering wheel. In the center of the dash is the actual speedometer.
Speedometer.
Yeah.
So both of you can. So both people in the front seats can sort of see how fast you're going. I don't know.
Yeah, I used it to scare passengers for sure.
Okay. All right. So how much you asking for that car?
I'm asking $8,000 or best offer.
$8,000's not bad because this is generally the good one, the good Mini without all the explodey bits, right? That can happen in the engine.
So, right.
It doesn't seem to.
But
seem too convinced. Well, I mean,
I've had all that work done.
Okay.
Because it happened to me.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
A2 Cooper.
at 2. Yeah. So it's had its timing chain and timing chain guide replaced, oil pump, water pump, whole bunch of coolant lines, those lovely BMW plastic joys. Right now, the only thing that I think it needs would be valve stem seals.
Okay.
It does burn oil if you idle for like 5 or 6 minutes.
Just don't idle.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, why would you be idling? That's just it's hurting the environment.
So sometimes I would like go through a drive-through and it would be kind of busy, and I'd be in the drive-through, and I'd move forward to the window, and I'd get my things, and then I'd pull away, and it was just like James Bond's smoke screen.
Okay.
I've had people like honk at me before.
Oh, okay. I mean, people like to honk. Sometimes they just like the car.
Fresh valve stem seals or not, the car is going to burn oil just because.
It might. Are you sure?
Mini Cooper things.
Are you sure it's valve stem seals and not something like a PCV valve? Because that's actually let's add that to the list of things
there you go.
People need to check. So the PCV valve, what it does is a positive crankcase ventilation valve.
Yes.
And what it does is it is just a check valve. It takes out the positive crankcase positive pressure inside the crankcase, and it vents that into the intake manifold. Now, the crankcase has a bunch of oil in it.
Yes, it does.
And what happens when that PCV valve is broken is that it basically
spits oil into the intake.
Yeah, it spits oil into the intake, and then people have a lot of this burning stuff, and they might think it's valve stem seal, so it could be that. It could be like a $3 part. So,
well, I might look into that, and maybe I will.
Well, that's the easy part.
Yeah. I might see if I can replace that, and I'll report back to you.
Sure. All right. So that sounds doable. Anything else? I mean, does the car have any accidents, anything like that?
No accidents. It has the Harman Kardon sound system, black leather. It's pepper white on the outside, black roof, black mirrors.
Carmen. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I got really spoiled. The upgraded Sony sound system in the ST is absolute crap. It's terrible.
Oh, no. Why? Are you an audiophile?
Okay, this is a car podcast, not an audio podcast.
Oh, okay.
But yes, kind of.
Right, just so you guys know, in order for us to set this thing up, it took like 3 hours because Andrew kept on. He was like, "Oh, I think it needs a little more mids." So I need my voice to be as velvety as a 1979 Cadillac Brougham.
I say that I'm an audiophile, but I used to work for Bose. Don't judge me.
Bose is a very respectable company. I don't know. They call it Blows. Yeah. Everybody in the everybody that has it stock, they just call it Blows.
Yeah.
But Bose actually isn't bad. It's more marketing than it is.
It is.
Yeah.
It's not the best, but it's okay.
It's not bad.
It's meh.
For people that don't necessarily know about audio, it sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
And they're really good at separating those people from their money.
Yes, they are.
It's like Monster cable. Like, you don't need a $100 HDMI cable because guess what? It does the same thing.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So,
but it removes the noise and the static, and it's isolated with gold. It's got real gold.
As a quick aside, did you see that? You see the reviews on Amazon. There's like a $4,000 HDMI cable, and if any of you are watching, take a look at the reviews for this cable, and it's just hilarious. Just people are like, this cable saved my marriage, and it's like I learned to love again. And
I mean, I'm kind of partial to the sugar-free gummy bear reviews.
Oh
but
yeah, those are just those are a little out there. But I wanted to pose a question to you guys in the audience. What color? Well, I'll pose it to you since you're here and you're the only human within earshot. What color should I paint my brake calipers since I'm making my wheels gunmetal metallic?
Okay, so you're doing gunmetal metallic wheels on a white car.
Yeah.
With a black and white interior.
Right.
So I would do black calipers with white Lamborghini font.
So I see that argument. The issue that I'm having is that it might get lost in the wheel.
To be fair, you're going to be going like 297 miles an hour. Ain't nobody be able to see the caliper no how.
So what I like is that that's actually good. It's really kind of low key, and it's a good
clean and simple.
However, I want to stand out a little bit. Not enough that I'd get red wheels, but I want to stand out a little bit. So I was thinking about red calipers. Now I know that is like a cardinal sin amongst the people that think that Peugeots are God's gift to Earth.
It's so stereotypical.
It is stereotypical, but here's the thing. I grew up with like Evos and whatever, and it's like,
oh, I did too.
Oh, red calipers are the best, and then like No,
Nah.
why? It's so
that's
racy.
the same thing with the build that I'm doing on my ST. I have a black car with dark gray wheels.
Right.
Like it's just super low key, and I think that simplicity and that like just
Aesthetic?
It'll be subtle.
Right.
It'll be subtle. Maybe you do black calipers with red Lamborghini text or something.
Now they're just being silly. Now you're just being silly. Oh, come on. Red text? Yeah. No, thank you. No, what I was thinking was red calipers, tastefully done. See, I can do anything untastefully if I just say tastefully done afterwards. It's okay. You know, it's the I'm not racist but. But it's tastefully done. Not too red, you know, not in your face red, not some candy stuff, but just a nice red.
It'd be really funny is if you got them painted in Rosso Corsa.
What is Rosso Corsa?
That's a Ferrari factory color.
Do you think if I took that car to a Ferrari meet, they would notice that? Do you think that there are guys like, that's Rosso Corsa right there. That's not becoming of a Lamborghini.
I think you should do it.
Or better yet, I can just go to AutoZone and get whatever crap they have.
I'm gonna barf.
I can go to AutoZone and get red in the spray can, and then just spray it, and then we'll be good to go.
What about, and stay with me here,
I like where you're going.
what about yellow?
So yellow is also
On the table?
It's on the table. Nothing else matches with yellow on that car. There's nothing yellow. See, with red, the side marker lights are red and the tail lights are red. And
Those are always going to be red, no matter what.
I know, but it's a good contrast. Like there's a red, and that's at least in the color scheme.
I don't know, man. You want to stand out, but not too much. Red's going to be boring. Yellow's going to be like pop.
Yeah, but if I wanted pop, I'd keep the red wheels.
No, that's not a pop. That's like a loud crack.
That's a
Like
snap.
the yellow calipers is just this.
Yes.
Whereas red wheels is like if you were to just take the top half of my body and twist it around and completely sever my spine in one gruesome, violent movement.
Okay.
That's what the red wheels are.
Wow, that got dark. Okay. So right. Okay, so I might do the red in that case because I love your description.
Oh, all right. Well then.
Yeah.
Nice knowing you.
Well, there you go. Just sever my spine red. That's what I want.
Yes.
I want a red so red that it's like you're killing this guy right here.
Give me a red that's so violent it makes you think of death.
All right. So yeah. So I'm thinking it probably might be red, but here's the thing. I can change it. It's paint. So
What about that crazy lime green that Porsche uses on some of theirs?
so there is a lime green, and on that car I think it's called Ithaca Verde.
What did you call me?
Exactly. You wouldn't know. You're not one of us. You're not one of us. It's called Ithaca Verde. There's another one that's Verde Scandal. There's another one that's
Scandal's a Lambo color though.
That's a Lambo. What I'm saying is Ithaca Verde is a Lambo color as well.
One of my favorite Lambos of all time was Ithaca Scandal or Scandal Verde, Scandal Green.
Yeah, that's Scandal Green. Yeah, Salomon had that car.
Oh man, he's a personal hero of mine.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. He lives life at maximum fun 24/7.
I don't know about that, but sure. I mean, I've met the guy once. He's a nice enough guy. I don't know.
I follow him on social media. I think it's just fantastic.
Sure, social media is great, but then again, if you follow social media, you think a lot of people are great. You know, Kardashians are good people. I know their Instagram. You know, like
No, I'm good.
No, it's okay. Fine. All right, so I think we're getting a little off topic, but we have covered a lot, and I think we have covered what people need to check on their cars to make sure that they're sort of safe. Not sort of safe, but a lot more safe than they are.
You depend on your car on a day-to-day basis. At least know the basics on how to do things because, I mean, you paid a lot for it more than likely.
Yeah,
so
it's you're in it. The thing is, people they don't. It's weird. They don't splurge on cars, so you can.
I know.
Use it. You should splurge on a car because you're in it for a lot of your life.
Yeah.
And you want some creature comforts. Maybe we can get to that in a next episode. But I think that people should take care of their car. Just like, you spend a lot of time in your bed, you want to get a nice bed.
Yeah.
I think you should have Adam Carolla actually has a bit on this. You want to have a nice bed, a nice car, and a nice TV because you're just going to be, or for the millennials, you want to have a nice computer.
And a nice toilet.
Toilet, actually, I mean, how do you distinguish a good one from a bad one?
I don't know.
Size?
Yeah.
Okay. Get a big toilet.
Yeah, get a
big one.
Get a big old toilet.
Get a big old toilet.
I need that big toilet.
Okay, all right. So we're veering a little bit. All right, so I think that's we're good to go. So if you want to contact us and talk about your big toilet, you can contact me at The Real Tavarish. That's Instagram and Twitter.
With that big toilet.
Facebook.com/AskTavarish and AskTavarish@gmail.com is my email. I do read every single one. I'm not sure if I reply, just because honestly I actually had a lot of emails from my last video, so replying is going to be a little hard. But I do read every single one, and I appreciate every single one of your guys' comments. But where can you find you, Andrew?
Where can they find me? I'm on Instagram at HeavyMetalFL and Twitter at the word 15, the number 65, 1565. Send me a picture of your toilet.
Awesome. Okay, so this is me. This is Tavarish for Andrew Howell, reminding you to wrench every day.